where the refreshments are, and we're gonna jump right into things. We like to start on time so that we can end on time. I'm joined up here by our Vice President Amy, our Secretary Melissa. We're so happy to have Melissa back. And we're gonna get started. For those of you that are on Zoom, can you just make sure you can hear us okay? A thumbs up or we're good to go? Yes? Test, test. Show the volume. Test, test. We're good?
Oh, hearing echo.
Hearing an echo. That's not good. The acoustics in this hall aren't the greatest, but we're going to try to work through it. We'll try to fix it. In the meantime, we like to start with the reports from both C11 and B3. We'll start with C11. Want to come on up and tell us what's going on?
Good evening. Sergeant Tim Golden. I am the Community Service Supervisor from District 11. A couple of reports to read. On the 27th of November at about 2:11 a.m., officers responded at 622 Washington Street, the Codman Academy, for an alarm. They entered, making a protective sweep of the building. Inside, they encountered a suspect who stated that he was dropped off in the wrong place. Upon further investigation, the suspect had an outstanding warrant, so he was arrested for breaking and entering the warrant he had there. On December 3rd, about 1:15 a.m., there was a shot spotter activation for one round at 497 Washington Street. The officers did not recover any ballistic evidence there. Firearm arrest on November 19th, about 1:30 p.m. The security from the school at 197 Center Street reported a suspicious car questioning individuals from the school. As officers responded, they were given a description of the car. That car had been reported stolen earlier in the week. Officers encountered that vehicle on Dorchester Ave by Shepherd Street, right at St. Mark's Church there. They detained both individuals in the car. One of the individuals broke free. Officers gave chase and they observed him discarding a firearm. Both individuals were arrested there. And then on November 8th, about 12:30 p.m., right here at 637 Washington Street, a teacher and some students reported that there were two individuals on a scooter that came by the school about 12:30, nearly striking a couple of the teacher and these students. There were some words exchanged. About 1:30 p.m., the same individuals came back on a scooter and threatened the staff member with a firearm. Short time later, a description was given out. The officers responding encountered those two individuals on the same scooter on Fuller Street. The scooter refused to stop. Area B3 units stopped the scooter at Westview and Franklin Street, and the two individuals were taken into custody. Short time after that, a search was conducted and officers recovered a firearm at 29 Crowell Street, and both suspects were arrested there too. And that's all I have.
Any questions for C11? Thank you so much. Appreciate it. We're now going to transition to B3. I know your captain is on, but did you want to come up and introduce your captain? Or however you want to do it.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
My name is Officer Hamilton Balthazar from District B3, CSO office. And on Zoom, I have my Sergeant DeVito, and also the B3 captain, as well as my partner, Nadia, which you're familiar with. So for reports, I think I have 2 reports for you. The first one, 1:45 p.m. on Thursday, November 7th, at the B3 front desk, we took a report for a walk-in for fraud report. Basically on this one, the victim stated that on October 29th, she paid the suspect via Apple Pay like $300 for a companion pass for American Airlines that she never received. So basically the victim stated that she attempted to contact the suspect, but her texts and phone calls were not going through. So basically the victim was able to get the money back from the bank, but she wanted to document the report. And the next report that I have for you, it's 10:39 p.m. on Friday, November 15th. B3 officers from the anti-crime unit conducted a traffic stop in the area of 38 Norfolk Street that resulted in summons for motor vehicle violation and also firearm-related charges. So on this one, the driver was driving a car with a suspended registration, and when the officer conducted a traffic stop, so the driver admitted to officers that he was aware that the car didn't have no registration, and also officer could observe, like on the front passenger seat, that there was a log box that resembled like a gun safe. So basically, from the no suspended registration, so the driver was asked to exit the motor vehicle, and officer was able to retrieve a firearm in the middle console of the motor vehicle. And the driver was cooperating with the officer. He gave us the number to the log box. So from there, we were able to retrieve an extra magazine and also like more ammunition. However, the twist to it is that the driver had a license to carry out of Washington, but that has since been suspended. So that's the issue on this one. So basically, Barton was able to confirm, and CJ's confirmed that the license is no longer active. So because of that, so it's never going to report, and for the incident. That's all I have for you. I have another report, but I'm not sure if it's on you guys, Torrey Street. Okay. So on this one, it's 11:31 a.m. on Monday, November 18th. B3 officers responded to radio call for breaking and entering into a motor vehicle in the area of Torrey Street. So basically, the victim stated that he had in his possession his uncle's car and parked it around 11:30 p.m. on that date and noticed it damaged around like 10:55 a.m. when his neighbor told him that he left the car door open. So basically, when officers arrived, they observed minor damages to the top of the door frame of the car, and also the victim stated to officers that he was missing his wallet from inside the car that contained like some credit cards and roughly about like $25 to $30 in cash. And the victim also stated that he had like 3 bags of marijuana inside the car that was missing as well. That's all I have for you. If anybody have any questions, concerns, feel free.
Questions for the B3 side?
No.
Okay.
If I don't. Captain, if you can hear me, do you have anything for them?
I don't have anything. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your reports. Now, I know after you hear from B3 and C11, you think, wow, all these negative things are happening in the community. But that's not the case. There are far more positive things happening in our neighborhood than negative things. I'm sorry about the mic here. We're working through the technical issues. So, Melissa had this great idea that after the police reports, we always do a Codman Square highlight to showcase the positivity that's happening in our neighborhood. So tonight we're going to highlight the Hidden Heroes and Sheroes event that took place right here in this hall on November 22nd. Bigma, did you want to recap that phenomenal event that we do annually, Codman Square Neighbor Council and Greater Four Corners Action Coalition?
I'll pull up some slides. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. The 2024 Hidden Heroes and Sheroes event was a hit. It was a sold-out event. We recognized 8 awardees. 3 of them were high school seniors. We want to thank our sponsors for making the event happen possible. We had a goal of $20,000. We raised upwards of $15,000. So if you guys still want to donate, there's time. Maybe we can put up a link. And yeah, it was a hit. We expect next year to be bigger, better. So we are hopeful you will all join us next year.
Thank you, thank you. Oh, question? The password for the Zoom? There shouldn't be one. Yeah, Vic will try to help you. As a reminder, that event doesn't just recognize people in the community that don't want to be recognized, our Hidden Heroes and Sheroes. We also raise funds for the youth scholarship. So there were 3 youth awardees, and each young person received $2,000 to put towards college or whatever academic advancement for themselves. So this is a really special event. We do it every year. Nominations are open for 2025. If you want to nominate someone, please just let us know, or go to the website and just nominate someone. It's a quick form that you fill out, but it's a wonderful event, and all the awardees had a great time. Moving along in the agenda, it's not often that you get to do a little bit of self-care during your community meeting. Sorry for the tech issues. But at the Neighbor Council, we always take a mental health minute. So tonight we're going to hear from Sound Mind Psychiatry and do a little bit of self-care. Take it away.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Kenny Shubenke, and I'm going to be talking to you today about how to manage your depression and anxiety, especially around the holidays. I am going to be sharing from a slide deck that I presented, that I prepared for this presentation tonight. I understand that I have a limited time, so I'm going to try to go as fast as I can. All right, first of all, thank you all so much for welcoming me into your community. I think you do great work here. It's truly an honor to be able to speak to everyone, especially at this time of the year, about how to manage our mental health during the holiday season.
Did you
want me to
share your slides? Did you want me to share your slides?
You can. That is completely fine.
Okay.
So, I wanted to first just talk generally about what anxiety is. A lot of people hear the word thrown around very loosely, but what really is anxiety? Anxiety is a feeling of worry, fear, or unease, especially about the future or current events. It's also a natural response to stressful situations. And especially at this time of the year, a lot of people experience joy and celebration and festivities, but a lot of people also struggle, right, with a lot of stress and anxiety and depression. There's a lot of pressure to be happy, especially around this time of the year, and a lot of people struggle with how to balance that and manage their emotions at this time. So I wanted to offer some practical tips and some suggestions on how to manage your anxiety, depression if you have any, and sort of make it through this season of the year. The first thing I wanted to say is that it's completely okay to not be okay, or to not want to be, in a festive mood, or want to be celebrating anything at this time. So acknowledge how you feel, which is the first thing. Acknowledge if you're feeling anxious, stressed out around this time of the year, or you're feeling sadness because you lost a loved one. Acknowledge your feelings, they're valid, and it's okay to feel the way you feel. The second tip I wanted to share was how to manage your expectation and expectations from others. So like I said, around this time of the year, there's a lot of gifts. People expect you to buy gifts for them, and you're expecting people to buy you gifts, and there's a lot of festivities going on. Take a moment to focus on yourself and manage your expectations. If there are any unrealistic expectations out there that you have of yourself or others, I really want you to put that aside and focus on yourself. Set some healthy boundaries, okay? If you're not in the mood to socialize with family or friends, it's okay to say no. Completely okay to say no and take care of your own mental health. The third thing is to incorporate some healthy routines into your daily routine, such as walking, sleep hygiene, exercise, a balanced nutrition, super important. Eating a healthy balance of fruits, vegetables, protein, super important, helping us keep our mind clear and get through the day. I know it sounds super simple, but taking care of your body goes a long way in supporting your mental health. Number 4, I wanted to share connecting with others. A lot of people that feel the way you feel. You might feel like a fish out of water, but you're not alone. There are a lot of people that feel the exact way you feel, so it's important to talk to people and connect with them. You don't really have to be alone in your struggles. It's important to express it, lift that weight off your shoulder, and share how you feel with someone who can relate, or maybe offer some suggestions on how you can start to feel better, or introduce you to support groups, if there are any, in your community. Super important to share how you feel with like-minded people. The next step was to practice mindfulness and gratitude. So in the midst of everything going on, it's important to pause and just practice some mindfulness. It really does help reduce reduce your anxiety, and also help you reflect on how far you've come. A lot of people place high expectations from themselves, especially around this time of the year. They look back and they feel as though they haven't achieved a lot, especially given that it's the end of the year. It's important to have an attitude of gratitude, regardless of if you met those goals or not. The fact that you're here in this moment and you're present, I think that's worth celebrating, and I think that's worth acknowledging. So that should be something you incorporate, especially around this time of the year, because it can help improve your mood, help you feel better about yourself, and overall reduce your stress levels. Number 6, take some time for yourself. A lot of people take time off work around this time, around the kids' school break, whatever you need to do, take some time to recharge. And also take some time to do something you love, whatever that looks like for you. If it's reading a book, going for a walk, listening to your favorite music, or just having some quiet time to yourself, can really make a difference. But it's super important that you take some time to recharge. Step away from the day-to-day and look inwards and take care of yourself. And the last but not the least is to seek professional help if needed. Now, I just gave you all these tips, but if everything fails, it's important to recognize that you might need help. You might need to seek professional help from either a therapist or a mental health practitioner like myself, or a psychiatrist or a counselor. Whatever your needs are, I urge you to reach out and seek help. There's absolutely no shame in reaching out for help. It's actually a sign of strength and not a sign of weakness that you need help with your mental health. Your mental health is as important as your physical health, so it's important that you take care of it. Like I said, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves, and we often put ourselves in the back burner. I think it's time to change that narrative and focus on you. In conclusion, anxiety is completely normal. Everyone experiences some sort of anxiety, but it's important that you understand how to manage it. Understand your triggers and use the strategies that we talked about. You're not alone. So please reach out when you need support. Thank you so much for having me on today. I'll be able to answer any questions that you may have. If you want to reach out to me directly, my website is up on the screen. I'm also on social media. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. Please utilize my services if you need it. I'm accepting new patients, and I accept most major insurance plans. Thank you so much.
Any questions for the doctor? That was great. Big round of applause. Everyone's happy to, I see the chat's active. Okay. At our community meetings, there's a little bit of self-care, so I hope you found those tips to be helpful, especially with all the holiday chaos that some of us are dealing with. Okay, moving along on the agenda, we have a couple of updates. The first is the Codman Square holiday party. Who attended the holiday party right in this room last year? Okay, it was a good time. Mark your calendars, December 8th, 10:30 a.m., right here in the Great Hall. We will be giving out 300 toys to families in the Codman Square community. Our Black Santa will be here, festive music, holiday treats. It's just going to be a good time. There'll be an arts activity and crafts center for the young people. It's going to be a really good time. At 12 o'clock, the mayor arrives. All of our elected officials will be present, and we will light the tree at the Codman Square Park. So it's a really exciting time. I know it's on a Sunday. That's not the best day for many of us, but that's what the mayor's schedule was. Do this event with the mayor's office. So at 12 o'clock, we'll head outside. We'll take a huge holiday photo. We'll light the tree. We'll have the trolley there. And we will also do one other thing. We are going to take a group photo for the groundbreaking of the Codman Square Park because construction is set to start the next day.
Really?
Is that amazing? It's really cool. You guys, we've been working for this Codman Square Park for so long. Before I talk more about the park, let me just remind you, the Codman Square Holiday Party is so much fun, but we do need help. If you are available to volunteer, please help us. 300 toys, 300 kids running through this hall, not all at the same time. Don't worry, Dr. Fish. We know the fire code and safety rules here. But 300 children will have smiles on their faces, but we need help distributing these toys. We have them separated by gender, by age, but we will need assistance. We will also need assistance with handing out the food and the arts and crafts. So if you're available Sunday, want to hang out with us, and have a good time celebrating the holidays with us, please let us know so we can sign you up. We also need to raise some funds. We need about $1,000 more to be raised to make sure that we can cover the photo booth and all the different expenses that come with this event. So pull out your phones, go to boldteens.org. If you're on Zoom, go to boldteens.org and donate. It could just be $5, $10. It adds up. Every little bit counts. But the funds will go to making sure we can pull off this event. Everything, has a little bit of a cost, so we want to make sure that we can cover everything. Okay, now, any questions about the Codman Square holiday party?
Where's the QR code?
Oh, Victor wants a QR code. Boldteens.org, boldteens.org. Maybe Melissa can put it in the chat. But you guys, pull out your phones. As soon as you pull it up, it's the first page right there. Codman Square holiday party. Donate. Every little bit helps.
Michelle Carter says, count me in, she's gonna help out.
Oh, Michelle, thank you so much. Michelle is one of our vendors for the Dorchester Winter Farmers Market, so it's great that she's gonna help. Any other questions about the Codman Square holiday party? No? It's gonna be a great time, so please come out and support. Next is the Codman Square Park. You guys know that we were able to secure about $1 million to transform that park. I know it took a while, a lot of visioning and planning and meeting, but it was all worth it. We're gonna have this phenomenal space right in the center of Codman Square. We had to secure the funds, we had to get the right contractors, there were a lot of steps, we pieced it all together, and finally, we're gonna start construction this month. And the city is hopeful that we might still be on schedule to be done by the summer of next year. Who knows? We shall see. We've already seen setbacks, but we will remain hopeful as well. If you have been a part of this process, if you've been a part of the Friends of the Codman Square Park, if you're excited, please also show up Sunday, because we are going to be taking the groundbreaking photo. We're going to have shovels in our hands, our elected officials will be there, the mayor will be there, our stakeholders will be there. We're going to take a big picture to kick off the groundbreaking of the park. So, holiday party starts at 10:30, photo in the park, 12 o'clock. I hope to see you there. Mark your calendars. Any questions about the Codman Square Park? A brand new park, you guys. It's so exciting. And now I will hand it off to Richard Scott, our Dorchester Winter Farmers Market manager, to talk about the Dorchester Winter Farmers Market, which also takes place right here in this hall. Come on up, Richard.
Hello, everyone. Oh, low energy, man. Low energy. I thought it was December. Hello, everyone. Hello. Here we go. So, I'm thrilled to be returning back as the Dorchester Winter Farmers Market manager for this season. Again, we will be back here. Last season was a ball. I mean, we had a lot of customers came out to buy. This is the only winter market in Dorchester that is open during the winter. So this is a time for you to get your farm fresh produce, get to be around your community, and just meet all the different local businesses that's in the community. So again, I'm excited. We will be back here in the Great Hall. I want to give a special thanks to Dr. Guy Fish and the Codman Square Health Center, as well as the Bold Teams for helping organize with me. And of course, the Codman Square Neighborhood Council for being part of it as well. So. Again, that will be January 25th till March 25th. It will be every Saturday from 11 to 2 in this Great Hall. And just to give you just a list of some of our featured vendors, usually we have one farmer that's usually there. This year we have pushed to have 2. So I'm really excited to have 2 farmers there. We have Riverdale Farms, which you guys, if you've been around for the summer market, you know a little bit about Riverdale Farms. And we also have Norfolk Boston. Norfolk Boston has also been as familiar with the Dorchester Winter Farmers Market. I worked with them a few years back, so I'm excited to have both farms there. We also have Saynor's Meats, which is it's a grade A meat butchery, so they have chicken, steak, things. There's a lot of things out there, so please come and check it out. Eggy's Brave, again, baked goods. The Native Kitchen, she sells salt-free seasonings, spices, rubs, pickles. There's a lot of things out here, and that's only a few that I have on my list here. So please come out. We have weekly entertainment. Again, our wonderful vendors that are in your neighborhood that work very hard to make sure that they're advertised. And we also have our cafe that is ran by Ms. Tamika Brown, House to 7 Cafe. She has amazing teas, coffees, and baked goods. So that's all everything in the wrap. Next year I'll be here again every Saturday, January 25th to March 25th from 11 to 2. We also have our coupon program, so if you want to learn more about that, please see me or reach out to the Dorchester Winter Farmers Market at gmail.com.
Any questions for Richard?
I know it's a lot. It's talking for a while, but
Okay.
thank you.
January 25th to March 15th, Saturdays, 11 to 2, right here in this hall. The space is activated. There are only 4 winter markets in the city of Boston. Okay, there are like 30 summer farmers markets, but 4 winter markets in the city of Boston, and this is the only one in Dorchester, so make sure you come out and support it. Okay, on that note, we have Gourmet Creole. There is a special request. If you guys know that this is if you guys remember, this is a business that's going to be opening up in Codman Square very soon. They presented previously. They want to present again. Tell us what's going on, all of the exciting new developments.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Natalie. I'm so happy to be here. My business partner, Dre, was here on August 7th when he announced that we will be coming into this wonderful neighborhood, Codman Square, right here on Washington Street. 657, literally 3-minute walk. Is it working?
It is. It's going in
Okay. Yes, so the reason why we're here today, it's not yet. So the reason why I am here today is because I am requesting and hoping that I can have the support to obtain a liquor license in the restaurant space. As we know, there was a bill that was passed recently within the last couple of months, weeks, so we're here for in need of support of everyone. So that's why we're here.
Any questions for Natalie? You guys remember her presentation, the presentation in August? You guys are very excited about the restaurant?
Yeah. So let me, sorry?
Can you talk about the food?
Yes, so I know we have a lot of Caribbean restaurants here in Dorchester, but the twist to this is we would like to have a really nice sit-down restaurant that is welcoming to families and a place for you to come and celebrate your birthday, graduation, a place to just come together in community instead of going outside of our neighborhood to do that. So I'm hoping that it's a place that will bring everyone together. Gourmet Creole is very community oriented. Right now we are preparing to do a holiday winter essentials for 50 families, which is about 158 people at one of the shelters that's hosting migrants. So we're providing brand new jackets, mittens, hats, everything for them, and also hosting a Christmas party for them. And these are some of the things that we also want to bring into the city of Dorchester as well. So
When do you plan to open?
we are hoping to open April of next year, God willing. Yeah.
What kind of alcohol license? Beer and wine or all alcohol?
All alcohol, yeah. We want to give you guys a good pairing with all of the dishes. So,
Do we know how many new alcohol licenses are going to be given to this district?
Propose, do you have the number of how many might be permitted in this district?
5 in the zip code.
5.
This year, 5, 5, 5.
5 in the zip code this year.
With 5, then 5, then 5.
5, then 5, then 5.
So 15 over the next 3 years.
Wow.
thank you.
Thank you.
That's it. All right, thank you guys.
And they are all restaurants.
And they are all
All
restaurants.
right, make sure we got that.
Okay, big round of applause. Thank you so much, Ms. Knapp. You all know how hard we have fought to bring sit-down establishments to the Codman Square community, to bring healthier food options to our neighborhood so that we can experience what other neighborhoods just right around us are experiencing. So it's really wonderful. We had Fresh Food Generation here just the other month, and they expanded their establishment to have sit-down. Gourmet Creole's gonna have sit-down. This is a really exciting time, Okay, and we've worked really hard for this, so big congratulations to all of you. Thank you for your presentation. Okay, moving along on the agenda. We have a very special guest this evening. As you all know, the Codman Square Health Center has new leadership. We have a new CEO here, and he's been making his rounds. He's been at neighbor council events, he's been all throughout the neighborhood, making sure people know who he is and what he's about. And tonight, he's going to introduce himself to our monthly community meeting. We have Dr. Guy Fish. Come on up, the new CEO of the Codman Square Health Center.
Thank you, Cynthia. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Delighted to be here speaking with you. I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio, but I've lived in the Boston area, raised 3 kids over the last 30 some odd years. They're all getting married now, which is very good. But I feel very much at home here in Dorchester, in Codman Square. So I want to thank you for welcoming me into your neighborhood. And since I've been here for about 4 months now, I can say welcome to my house.
Yes.
I started my life as a nerd, science kind of oriented student in college. Had a nice break when someone recognized that I might actually have aptitude for being a doctor and guided me, and so I went off to medical school and went home to Cleveland to do my residency training. My mom was happy that I was home. I got a few good cooked meals out of that, but got married and made my way. And as I started practicing medicine, I began to realize I was an internal medicine physician in a rural area of Delaware, and began to realize through my experience and that of my wife who ran the practice, that the healthcare system, as we called it, it really doesn't work for everybody. It really does not work for everybody. It doesn't even work well for the doctors, okay? And so at some point, it became clear to me and to my wife that we needed to make a change. I was in solo practice, so all the overhead, all the administrative burden, that was all on her, frankly, but on us together. And we said, this doesn't make any sense. So we need to change the system. We were also looking at, we were in a small town, and we looked at how, there was literally the haves and the have-nots. You could figure that out by driving down the street. And on one side of the street, you had people who had resources and means, and the other side, and they had access to good health care, and you had the other side that was struggling to find a doctor, right? And these are folks like us, people of color, who just didn't have the same access to health care. And we said, well, we've got to change something about that. So that started a long walkabout in my life. I applied to business school because I realized I didn't understand the language of business, to be able to make a change in business, to have those conversations. And so I went back to school, went to business school. It was interesting for my kids because they saw daddy studying, right? And they said, yeah, I got to study too, all right? And then I went on from there, and I was, God is good, I was in a consulting group, one of the major consulting groups in the world called Boston Consulting Group. I was there for 5 years, did work in all kinds of places, Germany and Canada and all kinds of places. And then after that, I made my way to Wall Street, spent a year there, and then did some other things, some other consulting, but most of that was driven by the fact that around that time my kids were needing tuition. And so you do what you have to do, right? You do what you have to do to make money to pay for these schools. But they all graduated, and it became an opportunity for me to actually think about what it was that we set out to do. During that time, I spent a lot of time on healthcare innovation and with different kinds of companies trying to help them move along. And it came to a head when I was coaching a young woman who was the executive director of the Bowdoin Street Health Center. She was a woman of color, had just been elevated to that position. I was on the board there, and I said, she's not going to fail on my watch, right? And eventually I coached her every Friday morning for an hour for 4 years, right? And she did great. And then she said she was going to move on to another health center, and I got to feeling my wife poking me in the ribs that, this is kind of the direction I should be going to. So the last 3 years before coming here, I spent my time at the Greater Lawrence Family Health Center, which, if you don't know where Lawrence is, go north on 93. When you hit New Hampshire border, back up 5 feet, you're in Lawrence. And it's a largely Latino community. It's like 80–85% Latino. You know, they're got the same struggle, right? They really are looking for resources, access to healthcare. They're looking for help with as you heard tonight, the doctor who was telling us about mental health, with substance use. These are the things that are very real in their community. So I got busy up in Lawrence, and we did a whole range of programs and services, and we began to move the needle in some really positive directions. That was a 3-year contract, and as fate would have it, and God is good, Sandra Cotterell, who was the CEO here at Codman Square for many years, and had been here for many years before that, she was the second CEO of this institution, and she was ready to retire. And as they were going through the search process, I put my hat in the ring, and the rest is history. So I'm delighted to be here because it's wonderful getting up and coming to work every day, and everybody looks like your aunties and your cousins. There's some amazing people here. Point out one of them here in our front row, someone you know, Tony Stankiewicz, who runs our development efforts and does a great job with that. Has been here a long time. How many years, Tony?
15 years.
15 years. Thank you for that. That's amazing. Great people here, great opportunities. I want to just give you a little glimpse as to what we're up to next. This is a tough time in the health center movement. Health center started here in Boston, actually. I don't know if you knew that. First one was in Columbia Point. Second one was in Mound Bayou, Mississippi. Okay?
When I was born. Yeah.
There it is. We have to do a field trip there.
Yeah.
Okay? Good. Take me down, all right? But now there's 1,500 of us across the United States. Most of them have something close to 10 sites. So there's 15,000 sites like Codman, where people in communities like this are getting access to healthcare. And we deliver high quality healthcare. Our healthcare is quality-wise as good as any private practice you want to go to. All right? We do cradle to grave. Bring us your newborn, bring us your grandmother. We got you. All right? Excellent quality. The services that we're delivering here were very, very much part of the lives of a whole group of people from Dorchester who have been gentrified out. Where did they move to? Anybody? Randolph. That's right. Someone said it right here. They're in Randolph because cheaper, cost of living there, but there's no healthcare services down there. So they're still coming back up here. And they're like, look, why don't y'all come down to Randolph? And we're like, yeah, we need to do that. We need to do that. So we have established a school-based health center in the Randolph High School for the kids who need, new to school physical exams and immunizations and sports physicals and woke up with a headache and all that stuff, right? So we've got that covered. The town has asked us to put in a full-fledged health center for the community, and we're working on it. And that is under development now. Tony's part of that process. You gotta raise some money, you gotta talk to the towns, you gotta work with our network and partner with people, but we're gonna get that done. And we'll eventually follow up this hybrid one with a full-fledged health center in Randolph. That's in the near term. Getting our financial house in order, getting Randolph stood up. But there's more to be done here in this community as well. We have people who are community health workers. They go out into the community, they knock on doors, and they talk. They talk to you, they talk to your cousins, they talk to your aunties and mothers to find out what do you need in this community. The usual things like food insecurity, housing, help with jobs, help with legal matters. There's a whole host of things. We can't do that all. We have to partner with other community-based organizations to deliver on that. But that is our mission. And that is one of the reasons why I wanted to be here at Codman, because if you read the original mission statement of this place, it wasn't about doctors seeing patients. It was about building the best urban communities in America, period, full stop. And that means taking care of the entire 360 needs of people. That's what the original health center at Columbia Point was about. That's what the second one in Mount Bayou was about. That's what we're about. So, my ask to you, as I am new here, is to talk to me. Because you know what we need, and I need to hear it. All right? I have a pretty open door. My email address is pretty simple. guy.fish, just like it sounds, @codman.org. So write to me. Tell me what you need. Tell me what we need to be working on. That's our mission. We're here for you. Thank you very much.
Any questions for Dr. Fish? You guys have the CEO of the health center right before you. Any questions? Comments?
Is there a timeline on the Randolph Health Center?
Our hopes and dreams, which I think are coming to pass, is that it should be open by the new fall term in 2025.
Big deal. Other questions or comments? Anything on the chat?
When will Randolph open up? Never mind. Thanks, Melissa.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We work so closely with the Codman Square Health Center. We're so excited to have new leadership, to have you here in this room with us, whether it's the Dorchester Windsor Farmers Market, the Codman Square Holiday Party, even Hidden Heroes. We just appreciate the support that the health center provides. It's an institution, it's a true stakeholder, and we're so glad you're here, because we were waiting patiently for a while, wondering who would be the new leader of Codman Square, because when the Codman Square Health Center does well, the entire community does well. And so we want to make sure we provide the support that you all need and that you continue to support the efforts of the neighborhood and the neighborhood council. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
We've worked with Tony for the entire 15 years that he's been here, and we appreciate your leadership as well. I think the health center truly, yes, big round of applause. The health center understands what it means to be a community health center. We have a lot of health centers in the city, and not all of them operate that way. So we hope that that continues. And thanks for sharing that history. My father, Dr. Lesh, was active with the Geiger Gibson Health Center. So we know the history, we know the importance of community health centers. Okay, moving along in the agenda, we were going to hear from Level Ground MMA. Is Mike Rodriguez on by chance? Okay, we might move around a little bit. Mike, did you want to give us an update on Codman Square United? Come on up. I did see one donation come in on the Bold Teens PayPal. We need more support. Remember, 300 toys are being distributed. Black Santa will be here. We have treats, hopefully a DJ, Councilor Royal, maybe, I don't know. And then we have a tree lighting with the mayor and our elected officials. I hope more donations come in. We need to raise $1,000. Okay, thank you.
All right. So, a frequent topic in recent meetings of the Neighborhood Council has been the Spurs and Streets rezoning process that the city is running in Codman Square, Four Corners, and Fields Corner. And the update is that the Chief of Planning at the Boston Planning Department, Amy Chambers, is coming to Codman Square next Monday evening to fill us in on what their plans are, what their timeline is, and just what we can expect. So if you've been involved with this, curious about it, if you have questions to find out, when this is going to happen and what it means. Second Church at 5:30, there will be a pre-meeting just to figure out what our questions are, and at 6:30, Ms. Chambers will fill us in. So next Monday, Second Church in the parlor. That's it.
Any questions for Mike? Okay. Thanks so much, Mike. Appreciate it. There's a sign-in sheet going around. Does anyone have it? If you haven't signed in, just make sure you sign in. I think it's at the back table. We want to make sure we capture everyone's email. We cover a lot of good information. We want to make sure that you guys stay informed. On that note, we're talking about housing. Let's talk about the Healthy Neighborhood Study. If you guys are not familiar with this study, you're going to learn more now. Come on up.
Hi, everyone.
Oh, gotta check in the hand.
Oh, Miss Natalie, thank you so much. Oh, Miss Natalie, thank you so much.
Have some handouts for you guys. You take one and just pass it around,
Good evening, everyone. My name is Chanel Olivia Kirk. I am a research associate at the Conservation Law Foundation, downtown Boston. I primarily work on the Healthy Neighborhood Study. Who here has heard of the Healthy Neighborhood Study? That's one person. Next slide, please. So what is the Healthy Neighborhood Study? It's a participatory action research project, the largest in the United States. And what that means is that our research isn't top-down. So usually researchers go into communities, especially Black and brown communities, and they build these really superficial relationships. They get their data and then they leave and then they publish it behind these academic paywalls that no one can have access to, right? Our research isn't like that. It is, next slide please. Next slide please, okay. No, sorry, go back to, sorry. We are a people-led initiative, right? So we co-design our research together. We co-analyze our findings together. We co-publish together. So residents from 9 different communities across Massachusetts help us design this study. They help us look at the findings, and they help us publish the findings. Over the past, next slide, please. Over the past 9 years, so this study started in 2015, residents have been really concerned about the housing crisis. We know that, it's really unaffordable to live in a lot of these cities, right? And people are being displaced and they're being pushed out. I think Cynthia and Dr. Fish just talked about gentrification, like this is happening, and it's happening at a fast rate. And so how does gentrification really increase financial risk? There's unaffordable housing, there's a rising cost of living, difficulty saving, and also really exacerbates an economic inequality. So, next slide, please. So, we sat down together, researchers, planners, advocates, residents in 9 communities across Massachusetts, and we created this community-derived affordability scorecard. And our goal for this is to redefine affordability on residents' terms, is to assess the current and future state of housing in our community, and I just want to specify that as assess the current and future state of quality, accessible, affordable housing. We want to build and sustain resilience in our communities, and we want to demand and support developments that align with these terms. So this is a tool that we believe that community residents like you, planners, advocates, researchers, anyone can use to organize and talk about like what you want for housing, because we know that we want more housing, but we know that developers are just going to come in and they're just going to build what they want, and that's not fair, because if we're not careful, Boston or Dorchester, Mattapan, Roxbury, it's going to become like San Francisco, where no one can really afford to live there except the tech gurus, and we don't want that to happen, right? So there are 4 parts to this report card. The first part really looks at affordability. We have an example of this development in Everett that was built a couple of years ago, where rent for 1 bedroom was $2,500. The neighborhood affordable rent in this community is only $1,400. So we already see that mismatch that exists. So who are they really building these developments for? Not the people that live there, and they don't want the people that live there to actually stay there, okay? And then we see the percent of affordable units is only 15%. And while they're like, yeah, that's a lot of, that's a lot of units, is it really? It's really not. Then we talk about how the AMI really represents the community. The AMI in that community is $120,000, while what people can really afford is what people really make is $57,000. Section 2 of the report card really looks at standards for proposed developments. Recently I was on a call with this developer, I'm not gonna say who, and it was a great conversation, but the call was highly moderated, right? You couldn't talk freely in the chat. If you wanted to say something, you could only say something to the attorney or the person that was moderating that meeting. And I just feel like that's really unfair. And it's kind of icky, right? So when developers are coming into our communities and they want to build these massive developments that no one can afford, we want them to share the information with residents. We know that they do that. CBOs, flyers, etc. Have conversations with abutting residents and residents that actually live within that community. We want them to really be responsive to community impact, ensure that the plan reflects what people who are already living in the community can afford. And we want them to give priority to contractors that are local or minority or women-owned businesses. The next section really focuses on evaluating existing developments. So what is the current state of housing? How many properties does the landlord actually own? What type of landlord is that? And that is very important. And is the management company actually local? Are they responding to your needs? Last section of the report card is looking at community-defined affordability. Have you or someone you know been displaced, right? We know people that have actually been displaced in this neighborhood. Then we talk about monthly payments for renters, monthly payments for homeowners, because we're not forgetting the homeowners, right? Your property tax increases, right? You have to pay that, or else they put a lien on your house. So
What slide are we supposed to be on?
I'm sorry?
4, community defined affordability.
What slide are we supposed to be on?
Section 4?
Section 4, I'm sorry, I
Is
didn't hear
that
you.
the section we're on?
Section 4, yes.
I was behind.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's all right.
Okay. I was going on, I was in my zone. Thank you. So here's our goal. We're on the final slide. Yes, next slide. This is a tool that we want residents, community organizations, CBOs, and developers to use in ensuring that we'll propose an existing housing projects, right, meet the community standards for affordability and resilience. We're having a workshop training people how to use this scorecard next week, December 10th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. via Zoom. I've sent around flyers. If you want, you can register for this event. We'll be walking you through this. This will be one of 3 events. And if you're like, Chanel, I don't have time, can you do this one-on-one with me? I can teach you how to use this too.
Very good.
Am I up? My 5 minutes left? Okay.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Actually, one. So once the study is completed, well, it won't be completed, obviously, but once you got to the place of where you feel you got enough data, what's the next step in terms of tangible movement with the information you've gathered?
So this has been a longitudinal study. We started in 2015. The study's wrapping up next year. What we're focused now is taking all of the data that we've collected and put it into action. The study is based out of Conservation Law Foundation and Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and our goal is to have all of the folks that have participated in the study to continue under the umbrella of a local community-based organization in Everett, so that they can continue doing the work in whatever space. So I think that the work will continue just really focusing on action, like just local action projects that they do. Any other questions? And my contact info is also up there, skurt@clf.org, if you need to reach out to me and ask me any questions. All right, thank you so much, Cynthia.
Great, that's wonderful, thank you. Okay, you said December 10th, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The flyers in the chat.
The flyers in the chat for those of you on Zoom, excellent. Okay, moving along in our agenda. Our district councilor is here. Councilor Earl, did you want to say a few words? Come on up. We talked about the holiday party, the 300 toys we're giving out. We talked about the tree lighting with the mayor, and hopefully you'll be there. And we also talked about using that opportunity to do a groundbreaking photo since the park is going to go under construction the next day. So hopefully you'll be there for all of that.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Brian Morrell, Boston City Councilor. I'm here with one of my team members, Abdullah, who's in the back. So if you see Abdullah Rowdy is suspension of the team, I have a few notes that I wanted to talk about quickly. This week or last week, we held hearings on one of the ordinances that I introduced called RISE. And RISE stands for Reshaping Inequities Through Systematic Empowerment. So what it requires the city to do is have equity trainings all across every city employee, but also make sure that every ordinance, every policy, every investment that we make as a city does so through an equity lens and has an analysis attached to it to speak to the impact that policy, that investment, that ordinance has on marginalized communities. So that's one ordinance, and we're hoping to pass that sometime next year. The other thing that we had a discussion on the city council was revenue diversification. Currently, the city of Boston, majority of our revenue comes from property taxes. That's why there's been this big conversation on property taxes in the shift versus commercial and residential. So we're trying to find a way on how can we as a city not be so dependent on our property taxes, so we're not shifting the burden. So we're not shifting the burden on either commercial property or residential property owners. So that's one conversation we had. And after that conversation, we had a conversation around tax classification. Currently, the tax classification bill, I'm looking over at the rep, is at the State House. It's now in the Senate, and we're hoping that that passes the Senate before December 11th, because at that date, our Treasury Department, our Assessment Department needs to start preparing the bills to go out.
I think it'd be lower than that's it. Yep.
This is good? All right. So we're hoping that it passes the Senate before December 11th so that we can make sure that we give the maximum tax break, which is the maximum tax break to our property owners. So please, don't call your state representative. They have done their job. Don't call your city councilors. We have done our job. Reach out to your state senators and tell them to pass our tax classification bill so our property owners can get the maximum tax break that they deserve. Lastly, I would say it again?
How much might my taxes go
The estimate from the city of Boston is saying that if this doesn't pass, 28%. We're trying to make sure that it's in line with previous years, that your property tax bill will only go up 9%. So please, yes, real money is on the line. 28% to those $1 million homes is a lot of real money. Lastly, I would just say I just want to thank everyone who came out for the turkey drive last couple weeks ago here at Codman Square. And then we're just making sure that we're supportive of every holiday drive. So we'll be making a donation. But also just want to give a round of applause to the Codman Square Neighborhood Council for putting on such a great event. Was it last week?
November 22nd.
November, yes. Here for Heroes and Sheroes. So I just want to say thank you for all the work that you do in amplifying good behavior in our neighborhood. So thank you. Oh, any questions?
Questions for the counselor?
Oh, and lastly, I just want to also say at the Henderson, we have a program called the Discovery Hub. Our young people between kindergarten and 12th grade on Saturdays can go to the Henderson for free tutoring, homework help, sports, there's breakfast, there's lunch, there's yoga, there's music class. So K to 12, please bring your students on by. And on Sundays at Madison, there's sports, homework help, free for all of our students, regardless if you're in BPS or in MECO or private school or charter school. These are free programs that we're having for our students.
Is that the upper or lower?
Upper. Yeah, upper. From 9:30 to 2.
Great. Thank you, counselor. Thank you for supporting the Heroes and Sheroes. Thank you for attending. Thank you for supporting the Codman Square Holiday Party. We really do appreciate you and your leadership. My son goes to the Henderson, so thank you for bringing positivity to that school. And just so you all know, 300 toys will be distributed on Sunday, but anything not distributed is donated to the Henderson. So just know that all the toys will go out. Okay, moving along. Rep Holmes.
All right.
Come on up.
All right.
No, we still have Anthony behind you, so.
Oh, put them in front of
Are
me
you
then.
sure?
Put them in front of me. I want to know what I got.
Now we're gonna hear from the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services, because Rep. Holmes would like to go last. Come on up, Mayor.
What I got.
Rep, you know I'm always short, so.
Thank you.
Just to reiterate what Cynthia has already said, hope to see you all this Sunday at noon. Dorchester only has 2 stops, and that's Codman Square and Adams Corner. Hope to see all of you, your families, friends, random people visiting, whoever you can grab out there this Sunday. It's the first stop, so we gotta make sure we come, we show what Dorchester represents and make sure we show out, especially because the mayor's gonna be there. She's due in January, so very grateful that she's still going out, as much as we tell her to rest.
Have her in and out.
Yeah.
We're not gonna have her on the
As much as we tell her to
Yes.
rest, we're not gonna say no if the mayor wants to go to the trolley. Besides that,
Liquor license, January 6th, forgot to mention that.
yes. The first cycle deadline is this Saturday, so we've been for liquor licenses. So we've been working, or at least I've been working, kind of across the neighborhood for different establishments to make sure that help them and aid them, make sure all the paperwork is in before then. Besides that, I'll see everybody this Sunday, and I'll most likely be taking time off at the end of December. So if you need me, I am not allowed to pick up. So per orders. To iterate what the counselor said, also please do not call me about tax classification, because council, the mayor, and the rep, we all did our jobs. So now it's up to your state senators. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. Any questions for Anthony? You deserve a vacation. You work really hard. We appreciate you. Okay, Rep. Holmes, you are up.
All right.
Now you were cut one time last month. You got a little extra time this month. Okay.
Take my time today. All right,
Too
so
much time.
I'm gonna make something real simple that some of you guys may not be getting because my colleagues don't want to just make it plain. I'll make it plain for you. Senator Collins is holding up the tax bill. So when they say call your senator, they ain't talking about generically. Senator Collins needs a phone call to find out why he's holding up the tax bill. All right, so if you didn't understand all those little things about call a senator, it's because you could call Nick. Now, Nick and the mayor, whatever they got going on, but that's a conversation they can have or not have. We had some problems over in the House with a guy who I can tell you doesn't live in Boston, who wants to stop the activities here on the House side. A Republican decided he wanted to step into this conversation. We were thankfully able to move that out of the way, and then now we've been delayed again with this question with Senator Collins. So can't make it no later than that. If you live in Senator Collins' district, give him a call. I'm going to start with something real simple, and I said it last month. The T is running excellently.
Yes.
And I am not going to hear folks who don't ride the T say they don't ride the T because it's horrible. That's not the truth. We have gone in the last year, we've hired, as I said to you guys before, we've hired someone who's an expert on transit. We pay him an awful lot of money, and he brought his team from New Jersey and New York, and we paid them an awful lot of money. And we have, as you guys know, done a millionaire's tax, and we have done hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, and will continue to still do that over, I'm sure, the next decades to get this T to where we think it should be. Now, I say go give it a try. We have taken slow zones from where there were 240 slow zones down to two slow zones. We will, on Friday, shut down the green line for, we think, the last shutdown for the year to get down for the slow zone. So literally, for the community we are in, on the Fairmont line, on the Mattapan line, on the red line, on the orange line, there are no slow zones, not a single slow zone. So, and then as we brought down the T, we fixed escalators, we fixed the elevators, we cleaned the buildings, you just walk, as I get on every bus now, whip down to one car family, I take the T literally every day, and Cynthia says, how I get here so early? I got here early because I love when I get on my phone and just put in bus 22 and it shows where all the buses are. It's a long way from where we were when we grew up. Come on, people. So we have gotten in a position where in COVID, we had decided, hey, we're supposed to be alone, we gotta drive in our cars alone, we got comfortable, and now we don't wanna get out of those cars by ourselves, and then we complain around why is the traffic so bad? Because you all won't get out your car. That's why it's so bad, you won't get out of your car and get back on transit. And I'm just saying, enough is enough about dogging the T. It is running well, give it a try. Two, I said last month, there are some things that make this country great. And I'm so thankful we had a conversation around healthy experiences and thinking mentally. I think this election put a lot of people with a lot of anxiety. Clearly, we're in the middle of holidays, which also put folks in a lot of anxiety. As you heard tonight, if you need help, don't be embarrassed to ask for it. There are many resources that we have, down the line that we've had around the helpline many times. Make sure that we're making sure we don't have folks feel guilty about any types of challenges they're having through, whether it be anxiety through what's happening politically, whether it be anxiety through the holidays. Let's not lose people during these holidays, folks. Let us support people in every way we can. So I said to you last month, what makes this country, three things that stand out to make this country great. One of them was voting. We have a right to vote. We need everyone to show up. We didn't show up. 30,000 less people showed up this vote than the last election in Boston. That's unacceptable. And it's primarily in our neighborhoods that we didn't show up. And we just need to continue to encourage people that it is a place where we are all literally equal. Literally, no matter if we're elected, whether or not we are poor, whether or not we are wealthy, whether or not we're influential, all of us are one man, one vote, and we need to make sure we value that as much as we can. Two, I said to you, another thing that makes this country so great is the fact that we have jury. We go into a jury, and I had jury duty yesterday, and thankfully I knew the cop, so they let me off. Meaning the cop was going to testify. They say, someone, I know him, yeah, get me out of here. But I served my jury duty, but they said, hey, you know someone, do you know someone? I said, yeah, I know him. So it's probably not a good thing for me to be on this jury, right? So I know a lot of cops, so that's probably going to be the way it works many times. But my point being, it was here in Dorchester, and it was a serious case. I mean, literally when you sit there and you think about, we complain about jury duty, we all sigh when we get it, but I said to you last month, I'll say to you again, we should, our civic duty is to vote and make sure we show up for jury duty. Let's not take every opportunity like that and just sigh and be unhappy. That was a very serious case that I'm sure was settled today, and it was good to see 8 people go into a jury of our peers. So make sure we do it. The third thing I said last month, and I'll say again, is this free press. You see the Dorchester Reporter, you see Seth, you see that we have a place where hidden heroes is magnified even in this month's paper, this week's paper. It's important for us to continue to support them. And I say all of that to say, all of us are going to take very seriously this federal election. All of us understand that come January 2nd, we're going to be the best prepared we can at the city level, state level, and federal level to understand that we live in a commonwealth that is going to see some changes where at the federal level there's not going to be support. We would say as much support even for health centers. We know that. Tony and I were just discussing it before we started tonight. But I can just tell you we're going to do everything we can to make sure that on the questions around those who are here undocumented. As you guys know, we passed a law at the Commonwealth that even undocumented are able to get their driver's license. This is the opposite of everything that we know is promised to be coming. I did get a question even last night at one of the community meetings around families feeling fearful, like the children may have been born here, but the parents are undocumented. Everywhere we can, let's be as supportive as we can to families, because there are stressors happening around this election. And I'm going to tell you, Ayana's going to fight as much as she can. The city council and the mayor's going to fight as much as they can. We're going to fight as much as we can. But we probably are in some challenging times, particularly over the next 2 years. I will also say, I believe that the House, as we finally learned last night, it is 220 to 215. You know, Gates won't be in 219 to 215. You saw Hakeem hold it down with 212 last time, and hopefully with 215, he can hold down those Democrats to make sure they vote with him again and make the radicals in the House not make it as bad as it could be. So don't give up, continue to stand the fight. Definitely don't think like you should not vote. Your vote matters, quite frankly. If it wasn't for probably some gerrymandering that happened in North Carolina, Hakeem would be majority leader instead of minority leader. Quite frankly, some of the things they did in North Carolina around redistricting really changed the map. I will say, I said last month about guns, and someone came to me this morning asking me, have we gone too far with the gun bill? I think I told you last month that we encouraged the governor, and she did, to go and sign the gun bill before the gun activists. I know you're smiling, I got you. You can laugh, but I know y'all think we went too far. And so those who don't know, we went after the switches, we went after some of the challenges with what we think was, the Supreme Court said we had to make some changes to the gun bill. We did. They said we were infringing on gun owners' rights. And someone called me today and they said, well, again, we think that, you know, you should be going after just illegal guns. And I had to remind her that I'm still representing a neighborhood that guns aren't still, yeah, I mean, there are some folks who are asking for guns in my neighborhood, but folks are still concerned about guns. Nadia, the whole team, Baltazar, they look at where we are with murders. Look at how, you know, people say we're the safest city in the big city in the country. However, those murders are still happening down Mappin, Dorchester, Roxbury. We're still, 22 is still a lot for us. I know they say, well, cities, you know, our size, Baltimore, they have hundreds, and we're down to 22, but those are 22 families in our neighborhood that we still struggle with, right? And it's 22 because, quite frankly, we have incredible hospitals that even when someone is shot, we're able to get them over to BMC and others, and they're able to be kept alive. So I hear folks saying we may have gone too far in the legislature with the guns, and I had to make a phone call this morning. I'm still not there. I'm still not there saying I want everyone in this neighborhood to have a gun. So if there are some challenges that you guys think that we've gone too far, continue to let me know. We did, finally, I'll just say, for those who might want to have a conversation about the auditor's question, because she's on the news today again about the fact that question 1 passed at 72%. We in the legislature, in the House, did make changes with our rules to make it so that we will be audited. We did say, yes, that audit can happen, respecting the will of the voters. But I can tell you, we're going to fight like cats and dogs to still keep separation of powers between the executive branch and the legislative branch. And we're going to fight to make sure it's not this audit. I'm supposed to say, well, wait a minute, is it just an audit? Yeah, there are separation of power issues, but I'm a firm believer that we should have an honest broker. And clearly, our current auditor would not be an honest broker in this conversation. And so, I know she was out saying today is the 30th day. The Secretary of State said, no, it's not. You still have another 30 days. I think this is going to ultimately be decided by our Supreme Judicial Court. And I will wait to see where they land on whether or not our Constitution says we can be audited. All right. I'll take any questions, or I've already gone too long, but any questions for me? Happy holidays, everyone. I am thankful that I don't have to try to be here on January 1. Yes. For those who don't know, we won't be here on January 1 because we're going to, take a break off, because this place never takes a break.
Never take a break.
But this year the team has let us take a break. Oh, I forgot, sorry. There are several things happening. We're gonna have a storm tomorrow. Thankfully, we're not gonna have a bad storm here. But I just wanna remind people of some simple things. Change your filters they will run much better. You can change your filters inside your heating system, so let's make sure we do that. Let's make sure if you smell gas, make that phone call to National Grid and get out of the house. Let's make sure we do that. The other thing that has happened recently is there have been multiple occasions where some power has gone off in a house and some of it stayed on. And it was weird to people where there was a whole set of people who thought it was their fuses or whatever. That typically means there's a line that has gotten a little shaky outside. And so if you have it so that part of your house is working, you go down to your fuse and you can't find a fuse, still call in to Eversource. That is probably something on the line. But you know, make sure you check all of the things in your houses and make sure you get through this winter safely. And I will sit down now. Thank you.
Now, I just want to say something since he's standing, but also Council Laura, for everyone in the room. So B3 is having their annual Christmas party for 40 kids that we're hosting with Santa, face painting, balloon artists, foods, and all that good stuff.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do announcements.
And we wanted to thank, I want to just thank Councilor and Rep Holmes because they always contribute to these events that we do for the community. They're always giving back. Without these contributions, we wouldn't be able to have these things for the kids and the community. So thank you guys.
No, thank you all. When I say Nadia, for those who don't hear, I would still say to the whole team, it is important that our police feels what's important by what we think is important. I've said that starts with the commissioner. If we think it's speed humps, then they work on speed humps. If we think it's, some truck sitting down there, they work on that. And that's what, when people come from around this country to see our police and see how we work in communities. So I too want to just say thank you. And
I have one question. Is it true that you're endorsing the center running bus lane going down Blue
I am
Hill?
endorsing strongly the center running bus lane down Blue Hill.
And how safe is that though?
Do I have enough time to deal with this?
1 minute.
All right, so as I said before about the team, the way I think of all the things that happen for transit in our neighborhoods, it was to get people through our neighborhoods. It was not for us who live here. So when I think about the Fairmont line, the Fairmont line had it so that for 40 years, people could get to the end of Hyde Park and just drive right through our neighborhoods and have no respect for all of us who live in our neighborhood. I fought very hard to get those, particularly the one in Mattapan, built, and I could not believe how many people believe we should not build the station, because of the fact that this should be about us who live here, not people going through. So Blue Avenue is another case. Literally, Blue Avenue today is designed 100% for people to drive through this neighborhood. And so all you have to do is go down to Mattapan Square at any time, and you will see 20, 30 people on that bus, trying to go on that bus in Mattapan Square. We are going to build a centerline bus lane because we're going to serve the people who live in our district. Now, people say, well, what about all the car users? So I started this by saying to you guys, get out of your cars. I need folks to not think of our neighborhoods as places you drive through. My goal is to make it so this becomes a neighborhood that becomes a destination. We want this to be a place that people want to come to and not to go through. So when you see all of the restaurants, we want to have sit-down restaurants where people come here. And it is something to me how people say, well, this sounds so crazy. But you think about how many people go to JP and how small that little lane is down Center Street. But everybody still goes there. You think about how the North End is a destination with one street. And everyone packs everywhere they can to get down that street because they have 120 restaurants. We have to create neighborhoods that people want to come to, that serve the people in this neighborhood, and can't just be places where people drive through. And whether that be, I know, Fairmont line, whether that be what I was saying about I wanted to say on transit as well, what we went through for pulling down the bridge at Forest Hills. I could not believe how many people fought against me on that. Now, if you get in that neighborhood, you would say, who would ever build another bridge? But you wouldn't believe what the effort was to go and do that. Same thing happened in front of Gallivan and Morton. People were like, this is the craziest thing, put a stoplight here. We have to serve the people, because people just drove through our neighborhood. That's what the point was. Now when you get there, you think about how much safer it is at Morton and Gallivan because it serves us, and it doesn't serve the people who are just trying to get through here. So yes, I am a strong advocate, and when it gets done, I can finally retire. That's how I began this fight. I began this fight 20 years ago saying, I'm going to build a busway down Blue Avenue. Could not believe that we turned down $174 million when we did that with Obama and I see I need the mic. And the former governor.
I gotta talk to you more.
Thank you, Rep.
We gotta talk more about it.
Thank you for keeping us informed as to what's happening at the State House, and also the weather tips. We really do appreciate it, and we appreciate you being here every month. We can't give you this much time every month, but we appreciate your presence. It's announcements time. If you have announcements, come line up. We're going to start off with Anthony.
Thank you. In the midst of the holiday joy, I forgot a really big announcement. The mayor was at the Museum of Science today. Who here has heard of BPS Sundays? Good amount of you? Yes. So that was a pilot program designed to allow people, all kids in the city, to have a chance to go to our great cultural institutions, museums, all of that, for free. And that was a pilot program that came with great success. So the mayor, worked very hard to make that happen, and we're very excited to announce that that program has been expanded for 2 more years. So now all school-age children from pre-K to grade 12 can go to any of these museums, Children's, ICA, MFA, JFK, all of that, 9 in total, for free. The first and second Sundays of every month. And you can also bring 2 guests. So, you have one school-age child, that's 2 guests you can bring along with them. So it's a huge program, huge accomplishment for the mayor and our city to allow our kids and a bunch of us who maybe went to the museums as a kid. So I will send that to Cynthia for anybody who wants to sign up all your kids, nephews, nieces, all of that. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's
Other announcements?
It's gonna start in January.
January, excellent. Other announcements? Are there announcements on Zoom? I do see that Sean Burgess, one of our board members, is on Zoom. If you guys don't know, I was asked to serve on the Kearney Hospital Closing Committee. Dr. Guy Fish also serves on this committee. I unfortunately wasn't able to serve because of my position with the federal government. So Sean Burgess is representing me and the Codman Square Neighborhood Council on this committee. So he will give us an update in February as to how that's been going and answer any questions that we may have. But it's really amazing that our neighborhood council was asked by the mayor to serve in that capacity. You don't see that happen all the time, so that just speaks to the work that we do. If there are no announcements on Zoom, I will announce again, we will not be meeting in January. This is not normal for us. We are one of the only civic groups that meets through the summer, rain or shine. We don't cancel for weather, but the holiday falls on our meeting in January, so we will not meet. We'll be back here in February, same time, same place. Take this information, share it with your friends, share it with your family, and we'll see you in February. Happy holidays, and thank you so much for your time, Ethan. You guys, can you come set up for a group photo over here? Rep and the CEO.
Sorry to keep to exposure.
that. Would you like to take that with you?
I guess so. I could take it. No, I don't really need it though.
No. Okay.
Because what I'm gonna have is a bunch of papers that I won't even use.
I know. That's why I'm trying to give it to you.
I got you. Mr. Holmes, have you ever met with any of the elderly people in the community and asked them about how they feel about the center and the bus lane?
I've been.
I'm talking about all the elderly. There's a lot of elderly people that I'm representing that they don't like it at all. They're saying it's not safe at all. It's not.
I don't know what lot of people you're referring to.
Well, if you go to any elderly building in the community.
I disagree with the word.
Have you met with the elderly people in the community?
I've been in this conversation for about 20 years.
How many elderly people have you talked to? He's walking away from me. See that? Wow. Interesting.
Everybody that wants to take the photo out of here.
I've tried to finish this conversation when he's finished taking the picture. Because I represent a lot of elderly people in the community. That's why I interviewed several elderly people, and they have a lot of questions about the center and the bus lane. They feel that it's not safe. Should I get in that picture too? No, I don't want to.
You get everybody?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Let's see if I can finish that conversation with Mr. Holmes. Because it's very interesting that he's. So how many elderly people have you met with in the community?
Hundreds. Thank you.
So have you been to the elderly buildings?
I represent many elderly
So
buildings.
I represent 100 elderly people plus, right? And they.
I don't know how you represent them.
I'm gonna tell you why, because on my YouTube channel I have met with elderly people.
I said I don't know how you represent them.
Okay, I want you to go to Council Tower and have a set up a meeting with those people in that building.
In what building?
Council Tower.
Where's that?
So you haven't met with the elderly people.
But where's that?
In Roxbury.
That's not my district.
So, okay, so how can you say you represent the elderly people then?
I represent the people in my district.
Oh my goodness. So, all right, so that's interesting. So what elderly buildings have you been to in your district? Sir, what elderly buildings have you been in your district?
Many.
And just name one. All right, guys, real truth. Russell Holmes is a fake. Interesting. Hey, how you doing? Take care. Be safe. So Russell Holmes, I tried to talk to him at a sensible conversation, and he just walked away. Interesting. So now I told you what I was going to do. I've been very respectful of him. He said he met with elderly people. I don't know what building in his district has he talked to, because a lot of people don't like the center and bus lane. But just want to hear it for myself. One of my viewers told me that he'll be at this meeting, and sure enough, he was here, and he did like I thought he was going to do, just run away and not even have a sensible conversation. So next, when I see Ayanna Presley, I will do the same thing with her and see how she responds. You got to get people to fair share, you know what I mean? And I talk to a lot of elderly people, guys. There's a lot of elderly people that watch my YouTube channel. Matter of fact, I met with about 15 at one spot and another 20 in another spot. So I met with quite a few people, and they said it's not safe for them, it's not friendly for them, it's dangerous crossing the street, a lot of stuff they had input on. And the ground's starting to get a little snow on there, so just be careful out there. The ground's a little slick. All right, guys, catch you guys on the next one. Naz Porter.